pretty sure she gets a lot of comments about how effing hot she is, so she's probably tired of him.
Jason Place.
But
Well, you kind of had to suspect that that's what was going on anyway.
And SKD. Oh, I hope we don't lose everything. I'm gonna feel like a jackass. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Talkin Moto podcast. Back at it, Monday, October 6th. Believe it or not, episode number 35.
Oh man, we're getting old.
Yep, getting up there. So, thanks everyone for listening. So, and it's all over. I said that twice. We're rusty. I'm gonna be rusty tonight. Huh?
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Oh shoot. So yeah, we took last week off. We're on a every other Monday format. Which I don't know, Jason, for you, but for me it's nice, but then it's kind of weird too. Like I come home from work and I know I should be doing stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're not doing a podcast tonight, and I'm trying to be better at like posting it on Facebook and all that stuff, like, hey, no show tonight, because we know everyone's listening to us on Mondays.
Oh, they're right on the edge of their seats, just waiting to see what we're gonna do.
That's right. So, but I think the days I miss it are the days that you post it, so they know what's going on.
Well, I didn't post anything today, so it's a good thing you covered it.
Dude, I'm all over it today. The last couple of days I've been trying to post stuff on Facebook, and got a little love from former guest, pro circuit rider Chris Aldridge today on Twitter. Really? Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So, but yeah, we can touch on that in a minute. But yeah, thanks for everyone that's helping us out. Moto Plainview Power Sports, Pro Action by FTM, MB1 Suspension, Black Diamond MX, Minnesota District 23, Hardline MX, Northland MX, The Bicycle Works, The Damn Bait Shop, The Open Mic Podcast, and Scott King Designs. And if you guys haven't, you should go onto the website. I don't know if you've been checking it out, Jason, but I've been trying to do like the little blog thing, kind of putting, I guess, just my 2 cents on what's been going on. So I did a little write-up on the Red Bull Straight Rhythm and RV going to the GPs, which it's in the blog. I just didn't make a header for it yet, but yeah, so it's kind of fun. You guys can read that and make fun of my writing skills, I guess. But other than that, we got the Amazon link up. No one's using it. You guys need to use that. That'd be great for us.
Use it, damn it.
But yeah, other than that, we're all over. Facebook is facebook.com/TalkinMoto. Twitter is @TalkinMoto. Instagram @TalkinMoto Podcast.
Does anybody use the actual Facebook address for a page ever?
What do you mean?
Does anybody ever actually use it? I don't go that way. I go on Facebook and search for it.
Oh, just search Talkin or what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. It could go either way. Either way. Some people, they don't set it up, so it's just a bunch of random numbers and words that make no sense. So, but yeah, you could go either way. Search for us. They'll figure it out.
Word.
Word. Jeff's no show. Jerk.
No show, no go. Leaving us hanging.
Well, so a few things that happened since last time. Did you watch any of the Motocross of Nations?
No.
Negative.
Negatory on that.
Oh boy. I can't say that I watched any of it either, but...
See?
No. This could be harsh. Could get out of hand. Do you think why do you think the US has been struggling over there lately?
Well, first of all, as much as I love our listeners, y'all can eat it because
Whoa.
when we talked about this a few weeks ago, several in the chat room lit me up for saying that the Europeans are on the same level as the Americans now and blah blah blah. Don't really want to get into it, but I just want to say I told you so. Now I'll let it go.
Nope. I don't know if you gave it a listen or not. I think it was the BTO podcast or whichever one it is or was. Thomas and Mathis were getting into it. So if you haven't listened to it, I'd give it a listen. It's pretty funny.
I think I listened to that one, but I don't remember.
Because all right, so I'm not totally agreeing. It makes total sense though, but like what Thomas was saying is like the GP guys, that's all they ride. You know, they don't do Supercross. I don't know if that's true or not, but you know, there's no maybe Supercross season. I never pay really any attention to any of that stuff over there, so I could be complete blowing smoke. But
Well, they don't have a Supercross season like the U.S. Supercross. Put it that way. They have a few, but they're nowhere near as big, and they're not. I mean, they don't have a massive series like we have.
right, and that's I think what his point was. Like, you know, we got guys that ride Supercross for 6-7 months out of the year, and then you know the other 4 they're riding Moto, whereas that's kind of what these guys do is, you know, kind of the Moto and that type of track. I don't know. It's kind of bummer. I don't know. Kind of tough.
You know, what is this now? The third year in a row?
Yeah, I believe you're right.
So I think, you know, first year you can call it a fluke. Second year you can say, okay, kind of a fluke, bad luck. Third year in a row, you can't say that anymore. I don't think. To actually, you know, pinpoint an area of why, I don't really know that I can even comment on that because I don't know. It seems like maybe American motocross has kind of gotten to the point where, and I guess I don't even really know if I can say that because it doesn't seem like this season it's been that way. But, you know, the past few years it seemed like maybe outdoors has turned into just an outdoor version of Supercross where it's more, you know, obstacles and less natural terrain. But, you know, this year it didn't really seem to be that way. And honestly, I haven't watched a second of the donations coverage, so maybe, you know, I probably shouldn't even form an opinion on that. But I don't know. It's kind of weird that all of a sudden, you know, it's hard for the U.S. to compete, but you know, are we falling off or are they just getting that much better? I think they're getting that much better.
Right, and I don't know. I think not saying it would help, or I think it would help. Is like it wasn't like I forget the track. 3 years ago that was just like an endless sand pit. I don't know if you recall what the name of that one is. I don't. Right off the top of my head.
I don't know. Is it Southwick?
It was worse than that. But like this track this year was kind of sandy, you know. Not saying like we can't ride in the sand, but I mean, you know, I don't know. I think it's kind of weird. Maybe I'm just making excuses.
Well, I think if you look at, you know, the American motocross series, you know, Jeff kind of touched on it last week. I think a lot of our tracks have kind of gotten to that point where they are, you know, the same material. They're the same dirt. So, you know, we're not seeing a whole lot of variety in that anymore. And I think it definitely hurts our competition. While it might make for better racing over here, it's, you know, it might be hurting our guys a little bit when they go overseas to race. But, you know, I don't know if that has all that much to do with it either. I think we're just seeing, the Europeans kind of come out of their shell and start to do battle. I mean, look at how many guys have come over here from Europe and are doing well here. I think it's just a sign of the times, maybe.
This was the other thing that they said is when the last time U.S. won, they won with like 25 points. And this year, France won with 17, It's like, like I said, I haven't really been following it. I know the one guy was, undefeated all weekend, But two, Little Martin, did you see that grenade that he hit in that roller? Or it wasn't really a double, but woof.
Yeah, I did.
That was brutal, So you got that, stuff like that. And then I heard there was kind of some talk about in that last moto, kind of sounded like Dungey was getting better starts or something. So they put him on the outside and Tomac on the inside, and then they were like 31st or something like that coming out of the first corner. It was kind of ugly.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to look for decent results when that's going on.
Yeah. So here's kind of the other thing is, hopefully we don't get in trouble for saying this.
Well, you're going to say it, so I'm not going to get in trouble for it.
Okay. I'll hate mail to talkinmoto@gmail.com. Do you think we sent the best guys over?
Ooh. That's a good question.
And,
I mean, good guy, the best guys as far as what, I guess.
Well, here's my thought, and kind of going off of what Jason Thomas was saying is, maybe, or my spin on it is maybe they need to look at what they're going to be riding on, or maybe they do that when they make their pick. I don't think just because you won the title that you should be a first pick to go on the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, I think one thing to look at is, look how long it took them to pick a team this year. We went a few weeks there wondering if the U.S. was even going to have a team.
Right.
It kind of seemed like it was just a last-minute deal. Here, we're going to throw these guys in and see how they do. I don't know if we'd be better off sending guys over there with a little more experience. If that has something to do with it.
I don't know if it's like, especially like with Martin. You got to start somewhere, But like, I'm just saying, let's just say that if you're not good on like a sand-based track, right? But you won the title, obviously, you won the championship. But maybe that type of track isn't the best for you or fits your style. I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling. Jeff, what do you think?
I think it's faster enough.
Bonk. What was that?
I'm trying to why my phone don't work. I kind of missed part of what you're talking about. Well, I missed a lot of what you're talking about.
I think you pretty much missed the whole conversation.
More.
Oh, shit. But, yeah, I don't know. Then, like, too, the other thing to me is, like, what other country goes over there? And I don't want to say, like, everyone obviously wants to win or do good, but maybe just because we're here, it's like, to me, I get the vibe if USA doesn't win, we lost, Whereas, like, some other country, shoot, if they got third place, that's pretty damn good. That's better than we thought,
Well, I think it's all a matter of perspective.
Can't hear you, buddy.
What do you mean you can't hear me?
Can barely hear you.
What in the hell?
Take the pillow off of your face.
There's no pillow. I got my phone 2 inches from my mouth.
It's getting better. Why don't you swallow your phone?
Oh shit. But
I had a system update, and Hangouts is kind of lame now.
oh no.
I can't. What am I doing? Well,
Stupid systems.
Yeah.
yeah.
No good.
So
It's
you
fine.
really can't hear me good?
Nah, you're sounding kind of funky.
It's all right though. It's not horrible.
Or it could just me. I have the volume down a little bit.
I had to crank mine up a little bit too, so now Scott's really loud.
You're done, buddy.
All right, fine. I'll go to bed.
Um, I've got a child in the shower, and he doesn't know if he's done or not.
I think if you're in the shower and you're questioning whether or not you're done, you're done.
Or-
If you have to ask, am I done? You're done.
Just go until your fingers start pruning. Then you're good.
Or do like I do and just go until there's no hot water anymore.
Oh man.
Is the chat room broken, or is it just not cool?
Why? Should be working.
There's
I
just
only see.
there's nobody home.
Nobody's in there. We're scaring them away.
That explains it.
Chris finally said, "To hell with this. I will not be the only person in the chat room tonight."
So yep, he's gone. That's it. That's all I got on the nation stuff.
It was kind of funny talking to Greta on Wednesday night. I'm not going to go and repeat the stories that she told because they're her stories and I would just make them boring. But some pretty interesting things went on over there, and it was kind of funny to listen to her tell her stories.
They do things a little different over there, huh?
A little different. There might have been some drunkenness before noon and whatnot.
Yeah, it's okay.
So, sounded interesting.
Did you guys watch any of the Straight Rhythm?
No,
Oh my gosh.
I watched like the first 10 minutes of it.
All
you
right.
can ask me about it in December when it's on TV, because I'm not going to sit at my computer and watch something I really don't care if I watch anyway.
Is that I know that's what I did. I plugged in my computer, put it on the TV, and
I meant to watch some of it at work today, but I never got around to it.
maybe I just have a bad attitude towards it, but like I think it would have been awesome if you could have watched it live. But like TV and then even watching it, the live stream, it's, especially towards the end, it was like for the most part everyone was doing the same sections or the same timing. There was kind of a quad in there. I don't know if that was the first or second set, but there was a quad and then it kind of equaled out, and then they had like the long whoop section at the end, which made for some close races. But I don't know, it was just kind of tough for me to get into, I guess.
Did it get more exciting after the first few rounds were not very good because it was guys who were like head and shoulders better than the other guy, and there was no competition. Like they would just get dusted.
Nah, yeah, there was. Well, I think Pastrana had one of them, because it was erased. Well, best 2 out of 3 is what it was. So I think there was one where I think Pastrana. I don't know if he won the first one or lost the first one, whatever, and then the second race he was behind coming into the whoops, I believe, and then he just held her pinned and passed him in the whoops. He was not way behind, but he was definitely behind, and by the time they got to the end, he was clearly in front. So, but yeah,
I kind of we were talking about this a little bit. Me and Matt were because we were up north together when it was going on. But the concept is pretty cool. I think the head-to-head bracket racing, but it just I don't know. It kind of lacked from what I watched. It just really didn't. There wasn't much drama, I guess, or whatever. Or the racing wasn't tight enough to really for me to get super excited about it. But
Was there
it's
any
kind
kind of like a seeding process, or did they just randomly throw people together?
No,
no,
they.
it was
Oh,
qualifying time.
yep.
It was what now?
It was seeded on qualifying times.
Okay. So they
But
put fastest qualifying time against slowest qualifying time?
they did for the first seed race, the 16th seed, but then I'm pretty sure it must have went that way the whole way, I guess, but they didn't go in order. I know the first race was like Marvin Muskin and the slowest, I think Jared McNeil or something. So it was like he went first, and then the second race wasn't the second fastest guy. It was, or maybe it was. I guess I don't remember, but it seemed like it was pretty uneven in the beginning, and I suppose that's how it's designed. But
Yeah, I think it has to be if they're going to do it that way. I don't know how else you would do it, but
Yeah, and then kind of you get a few races in, then you kind of had the guys that were seated a little bit closer together. So
I know I saw like eighth and ninth guy were seated together, which makes sense. And no, I was talking to Matt about how cool it would be to put it at I told him imagine Brainerd, at BIR getting a straight rhythm, which would be kind of cool. But I don't know how you would do it unless you moved it from location to location. I don't know how more people would get exposed to it. And I think that's the idea behind it, is that they can kind of move it around and put it wherever. But
well,
I would
wasn't that basically where it was? Wasn't it at Pomona?
Yeah, it was at a dress.
Yeah.
But one of
that's
the
what I thought.
effects of that is it was like 3,000 feet long. And how do you watch a race that's 3,000 feet long? I mean, in person. It's got to be possible. Because you have to pick whether you want to see the start or the finish.
Yeah.
well,
And I think, telling Matt, it'd be kind of cool if they were able to do it in a shorter section, but have each guy have two lanes. He'd go down, turn around, and come back. And let's say on the left lane, let's say it was each lane was identical, but the left lane did one rhythm first, and then on the way back did the other rhythm. So they were kind of on opposite, but they were identical. If you get what I'm saying, it's the same thing. It's just that they're doing, the first guy's first run down is one rhythm. It's the same rhythm as the other guy's run back, if that makes any sense. But I'm just thinking that if you compacted it into a smaller area, it'd be a lot easier to watch and be a lot more fun in person. Because I couldn't imagine when you saw the videos, and you didn't see it, Jason, but you could see this. They were panning down the track, and there was a ton of people clumped into the beginning area where the hard rhythm was, and then no one at the end of the stands where the finish line was.
That's about normal.
It seemed kind of one of them things where it's cool in person. I mean, cool to watch on TV or whatever because you see everything, but I don't know how you would. To me, it's like drag racing. I couldn't stand watching it in person. It's a lot better on TV, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It was okay.
Was there
Let's
any
be
kind of a breakdown as far as did the right lane get better? Was the left lane better, or anything like that?
They had kind of some talk about the whoops at the end. They'd kind of hit. I think it was a roll. I want to say a roller, but to slow them down. Or no, it was a double. They doubled, and then it was they'd jump onto a little table, and then they'd start skimming, almost more like supercross whoops, and then they'd run a section of those, and then all of a sudden they would turn into more, I guess, outdoor whoops. And I think they were saying the left side, I don't know if it was kicking them kind of weird. There was something with the left side, but that's all that I had heard.
But they had set it up that you swapped sides. So first race you went on the left lane, second race you went on the right lane.
Yep.
So they
You
didn't
had-
give the winner or like the fastest time of each round a lane choice or anything.
I believe you did get to pick your lane, but then when you got to pick your first one, and then after that you just flopped.
Well, that's kind of dumb.
Whoa.
But the thing is, if you're going to go 3 rounds and you pick whatever lane you prefer. So that way, if you do get beat the second time, you go back to your preferred lane for the tiebreaker. So there's some strategy there as far as, if you were better at scrubbing one way or the other, because you had to stay in your lane, and they didn't really give you. I mean, they weren't that wide. They were probably 8 feet wide each side, And I saw a lot of guys kind of getting really close to the center line or even into the other lane, but I think that depending on your riding style, you might have had an advantage in one side or the other.
Well, that's just, I mean, to me, if you ever watch any drag racing, that's how they do it. Basically, whoever had the fastest time in their own before gets lane choice. So why wouldn't they do something like that rather than, I don't know, that seems weird to me. Because you got to believe that it's impossible for both those lanes to break down the same or even be exactly the same in the beginning.
Well, no, I think they talked about when I was reading a thing on it, they talked about, like drag racing, there's likely going to be one side that's better than the other, because I think in drag racing that happens. One side,
It happens all the time.
just for whatever reason, is better. And they did it that way so that there wasn't an advantage based on the track. So they went out of their way to make sure you couldn't just always pick the better side. So
Yeah.
and they actually said that they thought drag racing could learn a few things from that, because they thought that was I don't know, a flaw, I guess, in drag racing. But it's no different.
I agree with that.
Usually the fastest guy always gets the advantage. Whether it's gate choice or whatever, there's usually a perk to being the fastest qualifier.
Exactly. Interesting.
Did you get to
I don't
see Travis run any, Jeff?
No, I didn't. I for some reason they actually their broadcast was, they made it too much like a regular race on TV, where there was a lot of build up for like a half hour, and then they finally started getting to the racing. So I probably only watched like 4 or 5 runs. I'm not even sure.
Did you watch it right off of Red Bull's site?
Yeah, I watched it. I found the link. I think it was on Moto. That it showed the entire broadcast on TV. That's going to be on TV.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was kind of neat. Like, they come out of the start gate, and they kind of had, I don't know if they'd call them whoop. They weren't really whoops, more like just a bunch of rollers. And then they had that first hill that a lot of guys would double into the rhythm section and then start going. Yeah. Well, Pastrana, he'd hit that first one, and he would actually completely roll it and then double in, whereas everyone else is doubling into the section, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then toward the end, I think Malcolm was the first one to do it. There was a quad in there, so I don't know if he did a double, triple, quad, triple, double, something, flare, backflip.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did all those things.
You do a backflip?
Pastrana did.
See?
Yeah. They had a pretty big jump at the end, and which was cool, I guess, because it was the end, like the finish was before it. But yeah, he raced Hansen, and he's in front of him in the whoops, and yeah, does a big old backflip over the finish. And I'm surprised that he didn't like blow out his shoulder, because he didn't over rotated it. He just kind of landed out in the flat a little bit. But yeah, I didn't see anybody crash, and I figured, I would have put money on Pastrana wadding it up, but
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like it was. Most of my knowledge of the track comes from Mad Skills Motocross because they've had it on their weekly jam. It was last week's
mm,
track, so I was very familiar with it. So, but it was fairly tame, I guess. It seemed like there wasn't. I didn't really see any of those big quads or anything because I didn't get to that part yet. I just watched the 250 guys.
well, then you weren't doing it right, Jeff, because you got to wheelie the whole thing on that stupid video game.
Well, yeah, I know. That's how you get the fast time. I tried to win a Red Bull helmet, but couldn't. They were giving away 2 custom painted Red Bull helmets to some of the fast people on the weekly jam, and
Did the
I think the best
the-
was like 26th or so, or 26th, 27th in the state was the best I could get.
did that master whatever his name win it?
Well, how does that guy win every freaking week? Like, I want to see his runs. I want to watch him.
I like playing the game, and I usually start off playing it when it comes out, or like when it came out this time. But then it gets to the point where pretty much the gate drops or you take off, and you have to wheelie for however many laps, and that's all it is. And that when it gets to that point, then I quit playing.
Is that all those guys are doing?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've never seen any of those like ultra fast runs, and I've had some pretty good times. Like I've had some overall times that are under 1,000 for rank in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So decent times, and I'm pretty damn close to. I might only be like half a second or a second off of the fast time, but I don't understand. Like, how many attempts do these guys have into this thing, or how? I can't wheelie, and then I wonder how many people like buy. Can you buy upgrades for your bike?
I think you can. I just did
I've never
I
on the game, so I don't know.
Yeah, I just do your normal upgrades that you can from playing, but yeah, I don't. I play them and that's enough. I don't need to dump money at it, you know.
Just got Wheelie Master like a couple days ago, and it was like ride a wheelie for 6 seconds, and I hadn't gotten that yet. So I obviously I'm not doing it right apparently.
Yeah, no. I can't think of that guy's name, but yeah, either YouTube them or sometimes Mad Skills will put it either on Facebook. I don't think Racer X puts it on there. Maybe it's just Facebook. I'm seeing it, but yeah, it's pretty much all it is. Non-stop wheelies. They're landing off the jumps, wheelie, take off, wheelie. It's just wheelie the whole way.
Yeah.
So usually what I would do is just play, and when I think I've done the best I can, then I just quit.
Well, that's kind of dumb that they actually made it that way. Like, for one, no one frickin' rides wheelies everywhere. I'm pretty sure that is not the fastest way to get around a track, by riding a wheelie. We're trying to make it semi-realistic, and let's make it achievable for the average. I guess I'm probably whining because those guys are just so much better than me, but
No, I know.
They're better at you on a stupid phone game. Who gives a shit?
I'm competitive. I like to be the best.
Who gives a shit? It's all right.
Sorry, I just woke up from my nap while you guys were talking about that. And
Hey, it's all
I
right.
get a little testy when I first wake up.
But yeah, so did you hear who won, or do you not want me to tell you, Jason?
I really don't care.
James Stewart.
I knew that.
James Stewart. And then Brayton got...
Is anybody surprised?
No.
No, I think wasn't this event was like designed for him, wasn't it?
I was...
Pretty much.
was kind of a little confused because they weren't talking like this was the first Red Bull. Is this just the first? Is this going to be like an annual thing now? Because they did the one before, but maybe that was just kind of more of a demo.
That was just like a fun thing. There was no competition in the last one.
I suppose.
They just
But so this was I found this funny as so the guys they win their race or their bracket or whatever, and then they interview them, right? So then obviously there's a lot of Red Bull guys there, and then Chris Bloss, he's doing arena cross, right, for the Babbitt's Kawasaki, which is what? Monster, right? So I'm like, they never interviewed him. I'm like, oh, that's pretty awesome. You're only going to interview Red Bull guys. And I don't know what happened, or maybe he just missed it or something. Well, Josh Hill is running like a pro circuit monster 450 or something. He wins his bracket. So he's up there, he's talking, and then he's like, "Yep, gonna go back to the trailer and crack a cold monster or something." I'm like, oh, thought that was kind of funny. Jeez.
I didn't see any of that, but I know he was running a Kawasaki. Him and someone else were running a Cowie Pro Circuit 450. Who was the other guy?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Or was Hanson just on a regular Cowie?
Oh,
I thought Nick had two guys there on 450s.
it could have been Hanson. I don't know what the heck he's got going on. You know what? I'm not gonna comment. Not sure. But oh yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. It made me kind of chuckle a little bit. Oh well.
Taking it.
What's going on, Jeff? Little man
I'm
in
yelling
there?
at him. My wife put a bassinet at the bottom of the bed, and it's too close to the bed because I kick it every night. And she just told me not to kick the baby.
Pick the baby.
You had the
This
baby?
is an imaginary baby right now.
Imaginary baby.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the baby's not imaginary. It's just not out here yet.
It's there but not there.
Living in a dark cave right now.
You want to talk about RV going to the GPs?
Woo!
Wait a minute. What? There's no way.
Spoiler alert.
That didn't happen.
It's gonna be awesome, man. I'm so excited about it. Although I'll be kind of pissed if he goes over there and just mops the house like he does here.
That's what we want, right?
Nah, I don't know.
No, he's gonna get his ass kicked by like two guys.
I'd like to see it be a battle, and I think it'll be pretty damn. I think it'll be good. I mean, I don't know. I really feel like this year, because what's happening, Caroli will be training harder than normal and getting more prepared than he's ever been. So. I think what's his name's gonna have his hands full for sure.
Caroli?
Him and Villapoto. It should be a good battle, I think. Those guys are pretty damn good, I think. Can we agree that finally, after 3 years of us not winning a single race over there, that they're pretty good?
They're not bad.
You know, and what bugs me, let me say this. I know you guys already talked about it a little bit, but I keep seeing all these people talk about Tomac's second moto when he was so fast. You know, he was unbelievable fast and stuff. And my problem with that is I don't disagree that he was ridiculously fast, 2 seconds a lap faster, whatever. But how come we only see that out of him when he crashes?
Because he gets
Like,
pissed.
rarely ever see that out of him if he doesn't have. Well, and then you hear like, oh, he was so fast, he was going to win if he didn't stall. Well, guess what? He stalled, and he probably stalled because he was going so fast, right?
And he didn't win.
And he didn't win. And that's, I mean, you can say he was so fast, but he still didn't win. So it doesn't do you any good to be super fast but fall down off the start or tangle up with someone off the start. And the thing that bugs me, it's like, I was telling Matt this, we had this conversation, it's like, all you have to do really is get through the first turn clean at that race, and you've got a damn good chance of winning when you're as good as those guys. Because you're better than everyone except for maybe 2 or 3 guys I would say could hold it, could potentially beat you on any given day, but you're better than everyone else 99% of the time. So all you got to do is get through the first turn clean. Well, why is that such a chore for some of them?
I did hear him talk about how the first turn was kind of jacked up. It's like a one.
Well, it's because it was a hander, right? That's what they were talking about?
Yeah, it's like a right 180 something or other.
I don't know why that's so jacked up other than there's only one outdoor national that's a right-hand turn.
I can think of 2 right offhand.
Oh yeah, Millville's one of them, I guess. And I was thinking Glen Helen's the other one. There's probably others.
Those
I don't
are the
understand.
2 I was thinking of.
Yeah, but you're not doing a 180 either at either one of them.
No, but
So I don't see why that really matters.
What?
I think that being that they're all professional motocrossers, they've had their share of right-hand starts, and that's a bullshit excuse.
Well, to me, once you get to that point in the start anyway, I mean, how is it any different from any other left-hander on the track other than that fact that you're in a group, in a pack?
Well, the only thing I can think of right off the top of my head is you don't have your back brake
Why not?
because you're turning right.
So?
Can't you have your foot out?
Yeah,
I bet you-
how many pros do you see stick their foot out on their way into a corner?
I don't.
Just because slow amateurs like me do that doesn't mean that's how you're supposed to do it. That's a bullshit excuse.
Maybe they should.
I think
Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
that's not a turn with ruts either. That's a turn that's flat tilled, loamy. There's no real reason to stick your foot out. You can use the back brake all the way up until the point that you need to pivot. And so I think all your braking is basically done before you even stick your leg out to do the turn. But I see it's not like a turn that's super deep ruts where you've got to get your leg out and balance yourself. So I just think that that's a poor excuse. And I mean the bottom line is you look at the last. I mean, just look at the last 3 years. I don't think we've even won a qualifying race in the last 3 Motocross of Nations. So I think those soft, sandier tracks. Last year wasn't even a sandy track. So there's really, the bottom line is those dudes are hauling ass over there.
Well, it's like I said before, Jeff. A couple weeks ago when we talked about this, I got called out for saying that, and you weren't here yet, but I told our listeners to bite me pretty much. So.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were going to win this year easily. I would have never guessed France was going to be the ones to put the beat down on us. But
Yeah.
you look at the last, I think I mentioned this to you, or maybe I mentioned to Matt. Last year, Belgium won it with 27 or 26 points. The year before that, Germany won it with 27 points or something. The year before that, whoever won it with 20, well, that would have been, I guess, us. We won it with 24 points. France won it with 17 points. That's like one of the best nations ever in the last, I mean, they had no bad scores. A ninth is ridiculous. They had 2 ninths to throw out. So they were like we were in the, early 2000s or whatever. When we'd go out and win both motos and have our other guy get second or whatever,
Yeah.
So they were just going to be tough to beat.
But did you maybe, I mean, we kind of touched on this before, but did you maybe look at who was going this year from the U.S. and think, really? That's the best we have?
Well, I mean,
I felt that to a certain extent. I mean, obviously, with Jeremy Martin, he's a champion this year. You expected him to go, but I don't know if I expected Tomac.
I think Tomac was probably picked just because he had experience,
Yeah.
and he was pretty good at the last couple nationals, and he had experience. So I think that was probably the reason he was picked. But
And as far as Dungy goes, I mean, he didn't do anything that he doesn't always do. I'm probably going to get crucified for saying that, but I mean, there wasn't really all that different a performance from usual. From what I've read, I haven't seen it.
I don't think he rode that bad. I mean, he did give us the best score on the team. He got a second in that first moto. So I think, he had a bad moto, but everyone's entitled to a bad moto. I mean, that's why you have a throwaway. It's just that it sucks. His throwaway was, I don't know, was his the worst? His second moto was the worst? Or was your... I think he came back 15th or something, but...
I guess I just felt like I looked at this year's team and I wasn't as fired up as everybody else, I guess, about, oh, we've got this, it's a lock. I guess I just didn't feel that way. I don't know why.
I think Tomac was a good choice as far as the track goes because he practices at home on a sand track, and he killed Southwick a couple years ago. He had that same type of ride. But if you remember a couple years ago when he was on the 250s at Southwick, he was hauling the mail, coming to the front, and then hit that tree. You remember that in that turn? He was like way too far to the inside and slammed the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So these brilliant rides, but it's never a start to finish brilliant ride. It's just the middle is brilliant, and then he's a couple seconds a lap faster than everyone else in the middle of the race, but can't finish it.
And doesn't do it consistently.
Yeah, and so I wonder what it's great, but you got to be able to do that on a regular basis for it to really mean anything.
Yeah, I mean, to ask for a ride like that out of him, over 2 days was kind of like asking lightning to strike in one spot.
I'm just, I don't think that there's any. I think I knew that the European dudes were super fast when Clement Desel came over here in 2011, and ran. Was it Unadilla? He ran like third place or second place the majority of the race, and then got third, I think, at the end or something. Maybe it was 2012, but he was good. And he's not even the best guy over there. He was getting spanked by Caroli on a regular basis. So.
What,
They're good.
You want to... They were talking about Caroli dropping down and running... It's the MX2, right? That's the 250 class. Dropping down and racing that. And they were kind of talking like... The U.S. guys, do you think anyone would want to do that? Or do you think we don't need to do that? Or wouldn't need to do it? But, because, I don't know, they were talking like, I don't know if it'd be like the Dream Team or whatever. It'd be like Villapoto, Stewart, and then you'd need a lights guy or a 250 guy.
Yeah, I could see that. We definitely, the way our system works, the 250 guys, generally speaking, you've got a lot of young amateur guys that have just turned pro and they're 1 or 2 year, like Jeremy's a second-year rider. And then you've got, in the 250 class, what we have is a lot of European guys that come over here that have a few years under their belt, so they're a little more experienced than our guys. So it probably wouldn't hurt to try to send a guy that's been around a bit, like Tomac, like you said, throw Tomac on a 250. Obviously, he's pretty good on a 250. I know what conversation you're talking about that took place on another show, but and it sounded like Tomac said he'd do it. So I don't see any problem with the riders. Some of them would do it. Some of them probably wouldn't, because I'm sure some of them are kind of dinks about that. But
now here's another question. Like I said, I don't keep up on it, but isn't there's an age limit to the MX2, or does that not?
Not in Motocross Nations. They took that rule out.
That's out? Okay.
Yeah. for that one race, they took it out just because it's so hard for them other teams to field a under 23-year-old MX2 rider.
Right.
That's why Caroli, he's 28 or 29, so he couldn't. That's the other thing that, talking about Villapoto and Caroli, they're not like 3 years is a lot, but I don't know. I feel like there's going to be some excuses from Caroli's people if he doesn't do well. They'll say he's at the end of his career and Villapoto's in the prime.
What is Villapoto in the prime of his career? And he hangs up. It's over. Oh, wow.
That was kind of funny.
That's good. You guys are kind of putting me to sleep here, so I needed that.
Oh, shoot. Oh, crap. That was funny. I enjoyed that.
Huh. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Welcome back.
Oh, I didn't know it was going to kick me out. I had another call come in.
No.
I tried to mute it and then jump over and answer it.
It's okay.
I thought we were in a disco or something.
It's a sweet jam.
That's so far from music. It's like an orchestra cello.
Yeah, but you didn't hear what we heard. I mean, there was bumps, dude.
Oh,
Because
my
we
favorite
got
show. Guys,
What?
Antique Roadshow's on right now. I love it.
Oh, man.
I'm watching Flippin' RVs. Yeah.
All right, boys. Let's hit up this commercial and we'll come back. Maybe talk some Cedar Lake Speedway? Maybe?
Arena.
Arena? Well,
Okay.
I was on the Speedway website. That's where I got that from.
Fine. Fine. Do whatever.
All right, all right. Be right back, guys.
Oh, God, that stinks.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? I just want to say thank you to everyone out there that's been supporting the Talkin Moto podcast. It has been amazing. We have a great group of guys. We have an awesome list of sponsors. So please keep sharing, keep liking, keep spreading the word about the Talkin Moto podcast. And I hope you're enjoying the show. A special thanks to Motokazi.com. Motokazi holds AMA District 23 sanctioned races at both Kellogg and Mankato, as well as hosts the Motokazi Supercross Championship Series, which is all over Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin. They also have organized practice at Kellogg, Jordan, and at Mankato, as well as offer race schools, so you can get all tuned in on all your riding techniques. Make sure to check out Motokazi.com for more details. We would like to thank Mike from MB1 Suspension. Based out of Corona, California, they offer suspension, engine, and coating services. Please give them a call today at 951-371-5045 or check them out online at mb1suspension.com and make sure to tell them that you heard about them from us on the Talkin Moto podcast. Hey, we got Andy and Chad from The Open Mic. It's a weekly comedy podcast, and they talk about anything and everything, and they usually do. I've been on the podcast a few times, and it is a good time for sure. It's Friday nights, 8 p.m. Central. It's available on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher. There's more information available online at theopenmicpodcast.com. Pro Action by FTM is one of our many great sponsors. FTM offers support to you, the rider, trackside, so when you need it the most, FTM is there for you. Not only do they offer great suspension work, but they also have many other great bike parts and accessories to help you out on the track. So make sure to check them out today at finetune.com. The Talkin Moto podcast is proud to announce that they've teamed up with Plainview Powersports. Plainview Powersports is your Kawasaki motorcycle, ATV, and side-by-side headquarters. Located in Plainview, Minnesota, you can reach them at 507-534-3520 or check them out online at plainview-powersports.com. All right, thanks everyone for listening to us on the Talkin Moto podcast. We really appreciate it. If you can, go on to our website, talkinmoto.com. Support those that are supporting us. Everyone's link is up on the website. We're on Stitcher, we're on iTunes, we're on SoundCloud. Everything gets posted up on YouTube. So please give us a like, share, subscribe, and I hope you're enjoying the show. So let's get back to it. Alright guys, welcome back. So, I've been trying this week, last couple days, kind of getting things going on the Facebook page. So, I know Jason didn't like it. I threw up a poll for the Red Bull and I think on if Travis was going to hurt himself. But yeah, you guys need to like and comment, share. So it's kind of neat. I can see, how many people it's reaching when people are having fun commenting and vice versa. Right?
Right. You bloody well right.
But yeah, I gave a little love to Clayton at Pro Action today via Twitter. So that was cool. And then I was telling Jason this, Jeff. I sent something to Chris Aldridge today. He posted something up, and I said, just remember us at Talkin Moto when you're kicking ass this year. I thought that was kind of cool. Got a favorite. Nice.
What do you think of that new the Mitch Payton team this year? I know all the silly season stuff's pretty much wrapped up for those guys.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I guess out of all of them, that I'm most excited to see is Bowers.
Yeah.
I guess even though he's kind of been around the most out of all of them, but just to see finally, how he's going to do in Supercross.
So he's doing nationals too, though, right? I mean, he's contracted to do the nationals, I believe, right?
I have no idea how all that garbage works. I would assume, but I thought he had a year left on his Supercross, or on Arena Cross.
Well, I think I don't know. I heard him talking about how I don't know what he's going to be riding. I suppose he's going to ride a 250 in outdoors, but that's just crazy to me. Like, he's way too big to ride a 250 outdoors. Riding it indoors is one thing, but
maybe they'll do something 450 for him. Who knows?
yeah. I don't know. I think I'm excited about him, and I'd be interested to see how that Arnaud Tonis dude does, and who else they got. They don't got Baggett anymore. They got Chris Aldridge and Tonis, and then they pick up Savachi.
Well, let's take a gander. I gotta update this. I had a bunch of it on the website. See what they all got.
That's kind of a curious one to me, I guess, because Savachi's. I haven't been all that impressed with his rides, but
Right.
I mean,
Now, okay, I seen on I think it was Twitter. I saw this. They kind of had it's Facebook. Carmichael posted something on like the rider list for the Monster Cup. I seen Roxon's name was on there as racing, but going off of what he was saying at the Straight Rhythm is that he's not racing. Like, we won't see him until A1.
yeah.
But then someone else also commented, like, where was Dungy at? I thought he was gonna race straight rhythm, but
Bull Rider. He pulled out at the last minute. Him and someone else pulled out at the last minute.
mm,
I don't remember who the other guy was, but
yeah, I don't know. I could maybe see not doing the straight rhythm, but I mean,
I don't understand why you wouldn't do that. Like Roxon not racing Monster Cup, that makes me wonder if maybe he's not real. I mean, you'd think he would be comfortable on the bike by now, but maybe I'm reading into it too much. Maybe it has nothing to do with that. But why wouldn't you?
Maybe he has a wedding that weekend.
Well, that's true.
that's a stupid excuse.
That has definitely ruined many of amateur racers' dreams.
One in particular.
But yeah, that's what someone had commented on the Facebook page too, was that, it was a contract deal. Or it could have been a contract deal. But, I mean, to me, obviously he was there this weekend. If he's not racing, he's going to be there for Monster Cup, especially with, like, Hart and Huntington and Vegas,
Yeah.
I could see him, why they wouldn't want him, who knows. He could get hurt, but, I mean...
Yeah, but you could get hurt anywhere. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
You get hurt at the practice track.
You could fall down in the shower.
That's how I broke my leg.
Come on.
Pretend like I didn't hear that.
Oh, sorry. But, I don't know.
I have a stupid story like that too, but I'm not going to talk about it.
So, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. What else you guys got? So what's the weather doing up there? Was it kind of just crappy this weekend? Or not too
Pretty
bad?
much. Pretty
I
much
drove
crappy.
on Friday night.
Into a blizzard?
Yep.
Ugh.
I was heading up to Brainerd area, and about, I don't know, half hour from Brainerd, I run into a ton of snow.
Hmm.
It was no good.
Yeah, because Moto Kazi was supposed to have the autumn blaze that got canceled. Dang
They
it.
shut her down. They shut her down way ahead of time too. I mean, I think it was like 10:30 on Friday morning. I got the email that wasn't happening.
Do you think it could have happened?
Oh, there's no doubt it could have happened. I think it had more to do with the fact that it was supposed to be cold and windy, and they didn't figure anybody was going to show up, so why bother? It had more to do with that than it did, whether or not they could get the track. I mean, track probably would have been in pretty nice shape, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of the crappy part. It is getting to be, the weekends are getting colder.
Well, here I'm looking at the forecast for this weekend. Of course, they're saying it's supposed to possibly rain and not be all that great. But the weekend after, it's supposed to be 72 and sunny.
I will say that it was Christmas. I want to say it was Christmas Eve. We were riding out at Greg's place in Elko there. Something like that. It was right around Christmas. It was chilly, but I mean, it wasn't like riding on ice.
I think that was 2 years ago that we rode on December 5th, and it was like 55 degrees and just amazing. And then we rode again the first weekend in March. That was like the best winter ever.
Where was I?
We have those photos in 2012 when I got my 250 when we were at Kellogg in March.
Yep.
And I think it was like 70 degrees because Lyndon was there.
Yep.
And that's when I locked up my tranny. But other than that, it was a good day. I hope we get a winter like that, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't see that happening either, but that would be sweet.
Oh, they completely got rid of that.
That was disgusting.
My bad. There is no. It's okay. So everything is getting pushed to the Cedar Lake Speedway, right? Or is there another website that I'm not aware of?
No, it's all on one website.
Okay, I am in the right spot then.
Just go to Facebook, Cedar Lake Arena.
To my notes.
Friends with Jessica Noel, and she'll tell you everything.
Exactly. That's all you really need to know.
I did some digging. If I can find
Don't
it.
they start November 8th?
November 8th, yep, is the first practice. And then it's December 6th, January 10th, February 7th, and March 14th are the race dates, at least going off the website.
How many is that? 4 or 5?
5. Nope, sorry, 4.
No, there's 4.
4.
Just like last year.
That's a nice, easy little series.
Yeah, I
Bet
mean,
you won't do the whole thing.
I probably won't.
I bet I won't either.
so I mean, you can go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Open ride, yeah.
Yep.
And then you can rent the track too, right? Are they doing that again?
As far as I know. I don't know why they wouldn't, I guess.
Because didn't Brad... I always see guys on Facebook saying they had a couple spots for renting. That was all last year, though. But
We rented it a few times last year. Problem is, it's not... I don't know. It's a good deal, but it's not that good a deal, I guess.
oh no. Why?
Well, in my opinion, you're better off to go and ride on a Friday night because there's usually not very many people there, and
Oh, versus renting it out?
yeah, they got some rules. I'm not gonna go deep into it and whatnot, but they got some rules for rental that kind of take the idea of renting away from it, I guess. I don't know. I'll shut up now.
No, let's hear it. Call them out.
Oh my
Put them on blast. What happened?
So I'm watching the Fast and Loud Demolition Theater.
Yeah.
This kid wipes out on a dirt bike, and he's like, everything's on a GoPro, and he's like, seriously, dude, I need help, seriously. The dude finally comes over and takes the kid's helmet off. He's got a tree branch sticking out of his cheek.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's disgusting.
That's not funny, Jason.
Yes, it is.
And it's a big stick, too.
Oh,
Ain't
God,
like a
yeah.
twig.
It's not a stick, it's a tree branch.
Ugh.
That's freaking awesome.
So yeah, so all that stuff's coming up. We should try to team up with them on something. I don't know if there's something we can do.
Oh, there's got to be something we can do. PDR is going to be there this year. How about that?
Whoa. When is that?
Nobody. PDR is running the shop.
Oh, that's
Clay Olson.
Clay. Yeah.
Yep.
It took me a minute to figure that out.
Talked to Clay for a bit on Wednesday night. Pretty much just said hi. That was about it. But
We had a long conversation. I said hi.
well, he showed up. He showed up right at meeting time, so there wasn't a whole lot to be said.
Oh, for district?
Yeah.
Any fireworks there? Want to share?
I don't know. You want me to go down the list of proposed rule changes?
If we might find some of them entertaining, I'd be down for it.
I don't know. I don't think there's all that much there that's all that entertaining, really. It's pretty much the same old thing. Somebody does want to add a plus 35 class, which you're smoking dope, dude. But
I did have a request to talk about sandbaggers today.
what do you want us to talk about? Sandbagging happens. It's part of the sport.
Who's sandbagging?
Jeff Klein was brought up.
Was he? I want to know who this is.
I gotta find the
And-
post. It was either on my personal page or on the Talkin Moto page. Yeah. I don't know.
Tough to see you sandbagging when you can't win the class.
It's true.
Do they still do that? Your
RPV. Yes,
yeah,
they do.
that's still in effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, based on that, I should get moved up then, right?
Not from B to A, because B to A is 15%, not 10.
I remember that one.
Plus, I'm guessing you didn't race enough.
There you go.
What's the minimum?
I
Okay.
don't know.
I remember Clayton Carlson. We go to take off, and this was back when Elko was still around, and we get done, and I'm looking at the results. I'm like, what the hell's Clayton Carlson doing in plus 25? I'm like, he's been A for a while, I think, and I think I said something to Jamie. I'm like, he dropped in with us. He goes, yeah, and I think he just came back from something with his knee or something, or he was just getting back into it. So I think he was B for like 1 or 2 races, and then he was gone. Or back to A or something.
That'll happen.
You know what? I refuse to move up to A because I feel like the plus 30 classes should be all one. So I say we all race together. There shouldn't be A, B, and C classification in that.
I agree 100% with that.
I would love to get, 12 or 13 or maybe 15 of us on the gate that are actually racing each other. And I wouldn't win anymore, but that would be fine with me because it would be at least someone to battle with. Right now, the guys I battle with, yeah, they might be an A class, but I don't usually battle with them that much because I'm not really racing them.
Right.
That's
So,
why Millville's fun.
yeah, you get 15 guys on the line, and
It wasn't 15 last week, but it was 10 and 12. I mean, it's something.
And what are you running, Jason? Plus 25?
Plus 25 and plus 30.
Plus 30? Excuse me.
I mean, I hate to do that to the other promoters, but unfortunately, that's the world we live in with the way things are set up here. So. One thing that is a step in the right direction, since you brought it up, I wasn't going to talk about this stuff, Scott, but since you brought it up, one of the proposed rule changes is to move the required number of races to qualify for a district award from 14 down to 12. Which helps. It still doesn't help because there's still going to be a million races, but
the only issue I have with that is that your best, what do they still take, your best 16?
yeah, I'm not sure.
Or something?
Something like that.
So all you really got to do to win is to go to more races.
Well, but what are they supposed to do about that? I mean, as long as there's that many races, that's all you got to do.
I just feel like it's more of a participation award, especially with the way that you don't actually race
Well,
a lot of.
I agree, Jeff, but it kind of goes back to what I said last week. If you're serious about wanting to do it, then you need to show up and race.
Yeah.
Because the guys that are winning the championships are showing up to race. I will say it's not our fault that other people don't. That is why I am 100% behind getting rid of half of the races on our schedule.
Yeah. I guess that's my thought was that if you go to 12 and you beat a guy who goes to 16 of them, every time you go to the races, you beat him, and he still beats you because he went to 4 more races. So what's the advantage of lowering the? I guess I get the point that they're trying to get the guys that are on the fringe to go to a couple more to get that year-end points.
You
But
know,
I mean,
I
in all
honestly,
reality,
I don't see it having that big of an effect. Honestly,
yeah. I mean, I don't. Like I said, I think maybe they should make make the year-end awards for winning your class something worthwhile. And I don't know how you do that if you force the promoters to give, you know, give a certain amount of money to the district to provide those prizes, but make it worthwhile. Like I said, give away a bike in each class. Give away a bike, and you'll get a lot of guys that are going for points. But the point system would have to be fair then, or not fair, but it would have to be something where it isn't just about participation. You'd have to have a real series where,
well, and it would have to be a situation where you can't get beat by somebody you've never raced.
right,
To me, that's the biggest flaw in the whole system.
yeah.
That's tough.
The simple reality is we don't have the riders that we used to have. So you're not going to have those big prizes like we used to have. And they just need to realize that. And part of what goes along with that is you need to reduce the number of events.
That's the kind of thing that I wonder about this. Like our economy, our local economy, feels pretty good to me. Like you got a lot of people. I mean, we can't even find enough people for the work that we have. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We're like requesting temps because we can't find, and the temps that we find are just absolute garbage
Oh my
because
God, they're worthless.
there's just no good people out there looking for work or working. So that must mean that they all have good jobs or some damn thing. I don't know what it means exactly, but you'd think that if the local economy is, especially in the trades, which is where most of your, motocross type people, probably, I would assume most of them are in that type of work, where it's less white collar, more blue collar. But where are they at? If they've got, plenty of work and, you think that they would have plenty of money. I suppose maybe it's because, maybe everyone isn't living off the supposed equity in their homes like they were in the early 2000s.
I don't think it has as much to do with the economy as I think the economy was an easy thing to blame it on back when the boom kind of fell apart. But I think it has to do more with the fact that there was a whole lot of riders back in those days that were 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. And as soon as they went off to college or did whatever, mom and dad weren't paying the bill anymore. And it was pretty easy for them to just say, I'm done. I think that's where a huge number of riders fell off, and you're not going to get them back.
What was the reason for that big influx of riders around that time?
I don't know.
I always thought it was because,
Maybe
time
what?
disposable.
Oh, sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
No, I just think that they always talked about how when it first started declining, it was all, disposable incomes are gone away now. People don't have, all that extra money. Guys can't go get a home equity loan for $100,000 or $50,000 on the house that they bought 2 years ago and buy a fun hauler or whatever. It seemed like that was the reason for the collapse, and now that has kind of come back around, there just isn't the influx. And I honestly believe that everything kind of goes in cycles, but I really feel like I've been touting this for like 7 or 8 years because I've seen it with all of our friends. It just makes more sense as far as value to go practice than to go race because you get a lot more ride time for your money.
Yeah.
And so that's just, I still maintain that that's a big part of it. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's 50 classes and no one in each class. So you got to have hurry up motos, 4-lap motos, and well, I don't know, just you get no track time for the amount of money you spend.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if you feel like I do, but my problem with that is if I go practice all that much, I'm just going to get bored with it anyway. So I guess that's where racing kind of keeps me intrigued anyway. But
Well, there's a couple things I guess going against racing. For me, racing is a pretty big ordeal. Like if I want to go there with my family, it's a big damn deal.
yeah,
I gotta, if you're gonna be there all day, it takes up your entire Sunday, and a lot of times it takes up half of your Saturday. I think we talked about. Oh, sorry. I think we talked about how we thought more promoters should go to a split schedule where you didn't have to get up at 6:30 in the morning to go to race, to be at the races.
yeah,
I think Staples used to do it back in the day where it was a split schedule and the big bikes didn't have to be there until like 10 o'clock or something. I'd like to see someone try something like that because, sure, the people that have kids racing and themselves racing, they got to be there all day still, but that's no different than what's going on now.
yeah,
Let's try to set it up so that the guys that, like the John Matekas, I'll call him out. He likes to go have a good time on Saturday night, and the last thing he wants to do is wake up at 5:30 and try to get to the racetrack.
yeah. But my experience with that is they're probably still not going to show up.
Wait,
It doesn't matter if it's get up at 5:30 or get up at 11. I mean, you're gonna have to have races at 7 o'clock on Sunday night for that to have any effect, I think.
well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's really going to be detrimental then to have it. It's just, it might make it easier for certain people to justify spending the day, a half a day at the track versus spending all day there. But I don't know. If you're like me, I like my Sundays to kind of relax too a lot of times. So
Well, I've always felt that way. I've always wished that the races were on Saturday. I used to think that, nope, you can't have a race unless you have Saturday practice, a full day of practice on Saturday. I don't agree with that anymore. I wish the races were on Saturdays because I would love to have Sundays to recover.
yeah. Well, just think about that. What would that do locally? Have Saturday be the you could have practice Friday afternoon. I know Motokazi's done that before. They do practice from like 4 to 8. And then races on Sunday or Saturday. I think you could probably pull it off. I'd like to see someone try it, maybe.
What happens if you flipped it?
I think you're going to have, I think the promoters would be dead set against that because now you're going to lose, quite a few entries because, I mean, how many people are actually going to stick around and ride Sunday?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so not only are you losing rider entries, you're also losing, camping for all those people. So that's going to be a pretty tough ticket to sell, I think.
But who knows how much you might make up in increased, the idea would be to have increased turnout on Saturday for the races.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would happen, but you could certainly push the racing back to practices at 9 or 10 and give some of these bums a chance to get there, and then
Well,
it could run
certain promoters could definitely do that. The ones that are, done at 2:30 could definitely do that. But, I got to say at Millville, that's not really a reality because, they've been racing until 5:30 or 6 o'clock this year on Sundays. So,
Yeah, but if it's on Saturday, who cares if it goes till 7?
well, that's true. But I don't know, man. That's an interesting argument. It's kind of, no offense, but I think it's a worthless argument with the way things are and the powers that be being who they are. Nothing will ever change, but
When are you getting on that, Jason?
It'll change eventually when there's no district anymore. You know what I mean?
well,
And
yeah, exactly. I was offered a chairman spot on Wednesday night. I don't know how serious they were. I doubt they were serious at all, but it was kind of funny.
But you're seriously talking about going on there, right?
Oh yeah, yep. If I get voted for, I'm all about it.
When do they do all that? Or is it kind of,
Well, it's funny you should ask, Scott.
oh man, am I going to get in trouble?
No, I think it's a Saturday. Let me look. Let me look. Let me look. Let me look.
But
Yes, Saturday, December 6th is the annual meeting, and that's when all this stuff is decided.
now that's just anarchy, because that's the same day as the race.
As what race?
Cedar Lake.
So, Cedar Lake is not in our district.
It reminds me of Dukes of Hazzard. Did you guys watch that movie?
What, trying to draw people away?
Yeah.
Nobody goes to these meetings anyway. I'm sure they didn't even think about that.
I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
But if you are interested, the sanction meeting, it goes from 9:30 to 11, I believe, and then the rule change meeting is at 1 o'clock at the Knights of Columbus building in Bloomington, if anybody's interested.
Nice.
See, Jason, what we ought to do, if we really wanted to be trying to help, we should probably talk to some of these jokers that used to race that don't anymore and try to figure out what the real reason is and then address the problem, because I think the promoters, I don't know that they have any real direct feedback from people that used to race that don't anymore.
No, I think everybody's just kind of guessing at what happened and why they don't. I mean, I am, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, obviously that's probably one way to go about it.
We talked about this too, Scotty. Me and Jason did. How we think these, or I think anyway, the promoters should be looking at ways to. They should be focusing their efforts on getting kids started in the sport and families started to get that next generation to come through. Because once you're in it at a young age, generally speaking, you keep in it until you're. A lot of us hit a slump when we get to that 20s or whatever because we're in the real world all of a sudden on our own, and money's not usually something we have a lot of. But I think if they could somehow get involved with either putting on like a demo or some sort of thing. I was telling Jason that I didn't even know there was an amateur motocross scene in Minnesota until I met Caleb, who did it. His dad got him into it. I didn't even know it was a thing. Like I thought it was just something that professionals did. I didn't know there was an amateur scene at all. So when I found out, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like I need a dirt bike. Well, this is the coolest thing ever." So I think for a lot of people, if they're not exposed to it or don't know that there's an amateur scene, how would they ever get started in it, or how would their parents ever even have the idea to get them into it?
Right.
I think just somehow getting more exposure out there, and I don't know if it means, I don't know how you could do it, really, honestly. I don't know if you could talk to some schools about coming in and doing a demo of some sort. I don't know what, but I feel like it's kind of money that would probably not feel like you're getting a great return, but I think eventually it would pay off, and maybe the district needs to do it. I don't know who would really, if you could put it on a promoter, but
Now, this you guys can chime in on this if you want. Like, how much do you think Elko not being there anymore hurts all this?
well, I think what Elko did, it brought a lot of fans of the regular car racing. It exposed them to moto. So it put motocross a little bit on the map.
Like, I guess maybe, I guess I can call him out, I guess. Not Elko when Ryan was running it, like Elko when, like, Lee was running it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, might not help. I don't know. I mean, I think, well, that's kind of dating a little bit. That's probably what 6 years ago, last time I raced or whatever. But like, you got a lot of the local, the metro guys would go there. I don't know. Is that stupid comparison?
No, I mean, I think that's part of it, but I mean, I think it's a whole bunch of things, kind of. I don't know.
Because like, just if there's no place to ride, I mean, where would you ride at? Like right now, like Meadow, or what? Millville's what, once a month, There's no, like, what other place has even a weekly that you can go to? I mean, they've been doing stuff up. Is that Brookston or Staples? They're starting to do something every week, aren't they?
Yeah, they have weekly stuff, but
One thing that I never really even thought about is I wonder how much of an effect Meadow Valley has had on the district and the races, because
it's had a huge effect.
he's slowly gotten to the point where, I mean, I remember going there back in the day where you'd go there and he may not even have showed up that weekend, Like, it was never really a sure thing that he didn't take it that serious or whatever. But now he has a prime facility. It's always done up on the weekends, and it's, generally in really good shape. I'm sure he's stealing tons of riders, and every time I've been there, it's been really busy. So,
well, he's told me multiple times this year that this is the best summer he's had by far, and it's obvious. I mean, because every time you go down there, there's, like you say, there's a ton of people there. And yeah, he really has turned into just kind of your local go hang out and ride spot into a premier facility.
well, there you go. So let's say, obviously, people have shifted to maybe free-riding more than, or just practicing more than racing. And you think that it would point to the fact that it's $30 to ride as much as you want. I mean, granted, it's not as, you don't get any outcome or whatever. You don't get not a competition, but it's still, I think the reason people are driven to compete is for, either they have it in them or there's a prize or something, there's a carrot dangling in front of them. So I just feel like there's been plenty of days when I'm sitting there thinking, oh, should I race tomorrow or should I go spend $30 and ride to my heart's content? And a lot of times that, not so much recently because I've been a little more into racing, but a couple years ago it was almost like once I got that idea in my head, it was like, no, I'm definitely going to go just riding because for the money, it's a better deal.
Yeah.
This year I had a goal in mind, so it was a little different because you're focused on doing something, but in years past when there's no reason to race, if you're not competitive or you're not in contention for a class or something, why go race?
But with that being said, there still isn't any real direct answer as to why, or as to how to get more people to show up and go racing.
Well, I think we've got some good ideas where if you can, let's trim down some of the classes, get a little more riders in each class, hopefully, just by virtue of cutting classes, and then eliminate some races, make it so that there's not 28 races throughout the year. Trim it down so that you could actually realistically run a series and make the prizes better. I think you might have people that say, I could do 10 races or 12 races.
Well, I agree.
Would this be quality over quantity?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
If you didn't have to worry about racing every weekend, you could afford to travel every third weekend to the south or to the north or whatever.
Yeah.
And then on those off weekends, let these guys run practices or whatever, They can run as many practices as they want. Obviously, Meadow Valley's doing well with practices, so maybe practice turnouts would be great for these guys. And I know from a operating standpoint, those guys would much rather have the same number of entries in half as many races, because obviously you have, a fixed expense amount to run a race, whether 200 guys show up or 400 guys show up. It costs you the same to put the race on. So I just feel like there's a lot of little things. I think, if a little of something is good, a lot must be better, and that's kind of the mentality that motocross racing has taken here in Minnesota.
Well, like I've said in the past, I think, 6 or 7 years ago, that was fine. But now there isn't enough riders to support it.
Yeah. When you think about the professional series, they don't run 28 races in a year because it's just not. It does. I mean, more is not always a better thing.
No.
It's not realistic to run a 28 race series.
I'd be happy with one less race in California, but that's just me.
I don't care about that. Other than the dirt sucks in California. Maybe that's why we keep getting our ass beat at Donations, is because we keep riding in California where it's just hard packed and blue groove.
Shoot, yeah. I guess I don't know what the answer is, but I don't know. I think you're right, Jason. Something's got to change, but I don't think people want to change either.
It's
Well,
you got to get new people in the.
certain people don't want it to change, and unfortunately, those are the people that are making the decisions. And I shouldn't say unfortunately, because, I mean, honestly, the truth of the matter is that those people put in a lot of hours and get very little out of it. So I feel for them too, but I think they're very, very set in their ways, and it's going to take a lot to get them to change their minds. And one person on the board isn't going to do it. I mean, anybody that has any kind of a gripe as far as what's going on, if you don't take time to show up at a meeting, especially the yearly meeting, I mean, it's one afternoon. Whoop-de-doo.
Yep.
Then you got nothing to bitch about. So.
Well, what bugs me really is that they're just, we've tossed ideas their way, not necessarily the correct way. We haven't gone to the meetings and stuff, but we've contacted them in one way or another and threw ideas at them, and we're always met with the same resistance. It seemed like. So honestly, I felt like F it. I mean, you can talk to these guys. They're not even willing to try anything. It seemed like.
Well,
they weren't even open. So
I agree with you to a certain extent, except now I actually know the route to go to try to make that stuff happen. And yeah, it's one thing to sit in a chat room or, talk about it on the internet or whatever. It's something else to actually write up a rule, go through the process and try to get it changed. It's not that hard. It comes down to whether or not it affects an AMA rule. It can't contradict an AMA rule. They can't make a decision that'll contradict a rule. And that's the only say that the board has on it, is whether or not it contradicts the rule. If it doesn't, it goes to the public and it gets voted on. So, all those ideas we had in the past that we threw on, the district website or whatever, yeah, that's all fine and good, but you got to take it, put in for an actual rule change. Don't just sit online and yak about it. You got to be willing to take it to the next level.
Nice.
I'm not really a next level kind of guy. I'm kind of like
Well, that's the problem. Nobody is.
I'm a first level guy.
Because it's so easy to sit and bitch about it and not do anything.
We're getting Jason worked up here.
A little bit. I'm a little bit hot under the collar. I'm not. To me, it's sad that it's kind of falling apart.
Right? No, I totally get it. I see where you're coming from. Well, speaking of racing, You're racing this weekend, right?
You damn right I am.
You're down there to do some practicing?
Yeah, I hope so.
Jeff, you going?
Negative.
Are you done roofing? You want me to come up there and roof your house for you?
Like, I'm not even working on my house
Why not?
because my house is not the priority right now. I got another house that I got to deal with.
Which one are you roofing? Your house or other house?
My roof's been done for a few weeks now.
Oh.
I'm not roofing anything. I'm putting cabinets in, putting a bathroom back together, and putting carpet in, putting closets in. Oh, what else? You know, just the usual full rehab of an entire house.
Nice. Cool. I'm not good with any of that stuff, so good for you.
I'm not necessarily good at it, but I'm not ashamed to try or afraid to try or whatever. So
I like to call myself a sticker guy. And that's about it.
You are a sticker guy.
Yeah, see? So I'm good.
could you just wrap my rooms in vinyl so I don't have to drywall them or anything like that?
Could do that. See, now we're talking.
See, I don't got to putty any nail holes or nothing.
This is do you want a quick story? So
Story time.
So Andy got married. Lazan, is that 2 weeks ago already? Okay. So I drive up on Friday, Milwaukee to Stillwater. You know, drive, pick up my tux. Pick up the tux, go to the church for rehearsal, go to get in my car to go to dinner, in the old trusty Focus. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? It's like, it sounded like the battery was dying, but it was still like turning over pretty strong. So being the mechanical skills that I am, I just turned the key on and left it on a little bit. Start smoking. Like, oh, this isn't good. Any guesses to what it might have been?
Canifter pin.
Close.
Muffler bearing?
Blinker fluid. No. AC compressor seized up on me.
Son of a bitch.
Yep. So I will have to give a nice shout out to my brother at King's Color and Chrome. Came up with the flatbed with mom's tracker on the flatbed. Dropped that off as like we're getting done with the wedding. They show up, dropped the tracker off, and then we hopped in the party bus and took off. But they loaded it up, and so we got a new compressor on there. It's not all hooked up, but we're back.
Sweet.
At any point did you say, I'm not going to fix this Ford Focus, I'm going to throw it away?
No, but I was down there. I was supervising, I guess is the best way to say that. And I'm underneath the car, and my brother's messing with putting the compressor in, and I'm like, this is the extent of my mechanical ability, because I had my, I don't know if it was just because it was so cold last winter, but the power steering hose kept blowing off, or popping off, because it's like, whatever, a steel line, and it does a 90, and it's like a rubber hose that goes all the way across the kind of the bottom of the motor or radiator, and then it goes back to a steel line and goes up. Well, it kept coming undone. I don't know. You guys ever have that happen? Probably
No,
not.
no.
I've never had a power steering hose that could just come undone and you could pop it back together.
Yeah, I don't ask.
You have a clamp on it.
It had a clamp. It had a clamp on it.
Well,
So
you
I don't
had a
know
broken one.
if the clamp was crap or what. So I ended up getting new clamps, and I put 2 hose clamps on it. We've been good ever since, but I have freaking no idea. I'm not a mechanic.
Double clamp trick.
Interesting.
Have you guys seen any of those Tomcat commercials with the dead mouse puppet theater?
That's so bad.
Oh my god. It's so
But I'm
funny.
intrigued.
It's so funny. He's like, but we went to summer together. Summer camp over. Clunk. Hits him with a mace in the head. Oh, good stuff. I've been watching. I've seen that one a bunch of times where it's like a Viking warrior. One mouse is a Viking warrior that is a villager. I seen another one earlier and I didn't. It was on mute, so I didn't get to listen to it. But man, they're funny.
I'm gonna have to look for those. For some reason that reminds me of the janitor from Scrubs.
How come we have a? How come there's a touchless toilet? I mean, seriously, what's with this? What's wrong with germ people?
I don't know.
What's a
you guys
touchless? I have not seen this.
You don't have a. There's no flush handle. You just put your hand over the top and it flushes.
You still
Oh,
have to sit on it.
I know, but I mean, seriously, people, get a little poop on your hands. It's not going to kill you.
Speaking of toilets, when is our toilet gonna be fixed?
I don't know. It's not. It's not really broken. The sign's a lie.
All it needs is a flopper.
No, it's the flopper. It's the valve. It's the floaty ball. If you lift up on it, it won't shut the water off. So there must be calcium buildup in the valve itself.
Well, it's still easy. You want me to fix it?
That's almost an easier fix.
It really is.
I've been a little busy lately doing freaking credit override.
I said, do you want me to fix it?
Oh, yeah, someone can fix it. I just like hearing people bitch about it, so.
I think it's funny.
The
Except I
funniest
was
thing was, we had this temp in there, okay, and, like, he's a big boy. Like, he was 6'2" and probably 350 pounds, and he's his, big old, I think he was from the South. His name was LaShawn, but he was, like, running in from the warehouse into the building saying, I gotta use the washroom, I gotta use the washroom, I gotta use the washroom. And I almost thought to say to him, hey, that one's out of order in there. You might want to use the one out here. And I didn't bother. I thought maybe he had to take a leak or something because the shitter's out in in the bathroom in the store and the urinal is functioning. But like a minute later, he comes running in the back, like even more panicky, and like look on his face. He's like, "Oh man, where's the warehouse? Where's the warehouse bathroom? I gotta go bathroom." Oh my god, dude, you remind me of my kid who forgets he has to take a dump and like waits till the last minute and all of a sudden he's like running to the toilet. Like, you're a grown man, how's that happen?
maybe.
I had to give him a quarter yesterday.
Oh, that was a different one. What that was
Well, he was a big guy.
Oh, okay. If it was last week then yeah, it was probably LaShawn.
Was it last week? I don't remember. But
Well yesterday
yeah,
was Sunday. I don't think you saw him yesterday, but
you're right. Okay, it was last week. He said, man, damn vending machine ate my dime. I'm like, first of all, that wasn't your dime. It was my dime that I left in there. It's like, well, I don't care. It owes me a dime. I'm like, what do you need out of there? He's like, I don't know, but I don't have enough money. I'm like, here's a quarter. All right, I'll give you my change. I'm like, it's a quarter.
he had to ask
Walked
me
away from him.
he had to ask me if he could have a break and eat chips at a pop. I'm like, well, yeah, dude, I don't expect you to work 8 hours without having lunch. Cripes, man. So we fired him anyway, and then got a new one today. The new one actually did seem good. So, except for he was smoking in the lumberyard, which is usually not a good thing.
That's a sweet idea.
I had to go tell him, hey, man, you got to go outside. You can't be doing that in here. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm not mad. Just get out of here.
You know now.
Just put the button down once. We don't need it to happen again.
You guys smell
Maybe-
something burning?
Maybe we do need it to happen again.
Probably get me out of inventory.
Probably. That's funny.
Yeah, boy.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, so, if you know anyone that wants a job, go over to Pro Staff if they're good workers. And
Uh-oh.
it's a struggle over there.
I don't know.
The lead, pretty good, though. Or Saladin, I mean, is his name.
That's his. He's how can I say this politically correct? He's a very, very, very pigmented.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was correct.
I was watching a movie last night, Jason, that called him skinny. It was Black Hawk Down, when they were in Somalia.
very pigmented.
Very, very skinny.
He happens to have a felony from 2002, so
Really?
they have to give you their criminal history when you hire a temp, so you get to find out a lot about them.
That's funny.
Not good.
It's funny stuff.
All right, guys. I'm not gonna lie. We got tacos upstairs. I haven't eaten yet.
If anybody sees the Talkin Moto van, give it the bird. That's all I got.
It's down the road.
Speaking of,
It is gone.
did you put a Plainview Power Sport sticker on my car?
Did I?
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
I wonder if Matt did. Somebody. It had to have been when I saw you at Millville. I didn't even notice it. Like, it was right on like the kind of lower part of the window.
Mm-hmm.
So I drive all the way back. I think I go to work 1 or 2 days, and then I go to Walmart or something, and I come out and I can see something on the window of my car. I'm like, some stupid kid put a sticker on my car while I was at Walmart. And then I'm like, whatever. So I get home and I go and I take a look in Plainview Power Sports.
That stupid kid was Matt Dorn.
I've been tagged. So I got a pretty good chuckle, especially when I thought it was, somebody else or something else, and then it turned out to be that.
Yeah, I never did that. I've been known to tag people's vehicles, but
It's okay.
unless their vehicle is nicer than mine. If it's nicer than mine, I'm not doing it. But
Vehicles and umbrellas.
umbrellas, yes.
Nothing's off limits.
No. And tunnels.
But all right, guys, thanks for watching. You could be watching. Thanks for listening.
Watching this.
Yeah.
Thanks for some.
But
If you watched it, you're probably incredibly disappointed.
yeah, we don't have anything up, just the logo. But so yeah, not next month or next Monday. 2 weeks. Anything in 2 weeks to talk about? There's really nothing till Monster Cup.
I'm hoping to be 2 weeks tobacco free at that point.
Good.
Nothing?
No, that's cool.
Nothing? All right.
Do what you got to do.
Hey, you know what's going to be done in 2 weeks? My dad's
What?
house. Then I can focus on my house.
Sweet.
Then life will be good again. I'll get my weekends back.